So this week in the groups, or this week on someone's profile who's active in the fitness bodybuilding industry, he put up a fairly valid point about maybe you should choose who you follow and listen to for bodybuilding and fitness advice. Some of his points are pretty good. Some of his points I don't specifically agree with because I felt like they were more biased towards one certain discipline or way of thinking. So let's get into it. So specifically, he was comparing yesteryear's bodybuilders to the more fashionable at the moment practice of being an evidence-based fitness professional, guru, whatever it is this week. I have no problem with evidence-based, especially when it's a combination of critical thinking of the available scientific papers and research, and the point here is critical thinking. So people that read the research, think critically about it, and take some good snippets from, but don't take it as gospel. And also remember, evidence-based is not just reading science papers or throwing up videos and quoting scientific journals. Evidence-based actually comes from also the anecdotal evidence, i.e. experience. Now, some of the newer guys coming through that are in their early 20s, they don't have 10, 15, 20 years of coaching people in the field across multiple disciplines. All they can do is rely on the evidence they get their hands on. So that would be predominantly scientific studies. So I'm not hating on those guys that want to throw up science videos to back up their points. That's a valid thing to do, especially if you don't have the experience. You can basically go out there and access other people's experience or objective scientific data. Now the problem with just basing your whole concepts on science is that those of us that have been doing this for like 20 years plus is that we've seen this all before, right? Do you not think 5-10 years ago that we also had a wave of people producing the glycemic index and producing 15 reports on, or scientific journals on, why the glycemic index is the be all and end all? High glycemic carbohydrates, low glycemic carbohydrates, sugar is the enemy. We had a wave of science practitioners, and people like myself and others would latch onto that and then come to forums, because remember we didn't have Facebook at the time. We'd come to forums and we'd say, oh, you guys are nuts that are eating high sugary carbohydrates. That's the devil. That's going to give you insulin spikes and whatnot, right? And those people would have been evidence-based. That would be an evidence-based example of stuff. And again, let's take it a step further. Let's talk about bro splits versus high frequency, high volume. In my experience, I can pull up 20 world-class athletes, natural. That and athletes, let's be very specific, I can pull up 20 world-class bodybuilders that adhere to a once a week annihilate the muscle bro split. So think chest and triceps, remove just chest. I can show you guys that produce amazing results doing that, and then conversely I can show you guys that have responded exceptionally well to the high frequency, high volume. But again, let's talk about something else. So people often say, well, look at these world-class athletes like gymnasts. They've got huge arms and shoulders because they hit volume and frequency every day. I'd like to challenge that. When you go and see these world-class gymnasts, where are they? They're on TV at the Olympics. They're on world-class programs. Do you not think for one second that these guys are the top of the top when it comes to genetics? Do you not think that might be the reason why they're so huge? And do you not think that if we put those same guys on a bodybuilding split, of chest, shoulder, eyes, do you not think they might have equal results or even better results because they just have the right genetics? They respond that way to stimulus, be it high frequency, low frequency, high volume, low volume. Do you not think that their genetic makeup means that they're just going to be superior when it comes to adapting to a training stimulus? I would gather, my hypothesis, and maybe I'm biased here, is that if we put those guys on a bodybuilding training regime, I suspect they would have equal results or even larger stimulus because their body is primed to respond to training that way. So what does that mean for practical application for people listening to this video? Let's recut that. You might want to back your guru that just chooses to go in there, old school, hood up, sweat grit, smash a body part to pieces. Or you might want to favour the guy that does high frequency, high volume, you know, and takes that, and then, you know, it takes that approach. You need to choose the guy that you prefer to train with, because if that guy gets you pumped, motivated, and if you want that to be your gospel and have faith in, then you need to choose that, because that's the thing you're going to adhere to. There is no better way, you know, like there's guys that compete at the very top of this game that do the upper lower. There's guys at the top of this game that do the bodybuilding split. I think to a certain degree everything works, and anyone that packages it up and talks about obsoletes, they're just marketing their way of doing things, right? It's the next big thing. We've been here before time and time again, you know, this is no different. There's always been evidence-based practitioners, there's always been people that have thrown a few journals together in a video. So in terms of choosing who you follow, choose the guy that you prefer, because literally everything works, okay? And I don't see, you know, everything works, and everything that you're going to stick to, you enjoy, you're going to be more consistent with, and you're going to adhere to. That's the thing that's going to work best for you. So train the hell the way you like to train. You know, like, I don't see any difference between at the very top of the game and even in the middle of the game. I don't see any difference between the guys that do upper lower versus the guy that do bodybuilding split. You just do what you like doing. And by the way, the funny thing is it sounds like I'm defending the bro split. And you know what? I'm an upper lower guy. But what it is, I go into the game open-eyed. You know, like these people, you know, unfortunately, when you get zealots, you're going to get followers, and followers are going to get defensive, and that's just what's happening. And this has happened time and time again. High carbohydrate, low carbohydrate, high fat, low fat, low glycemic index, high glycemic index, 6 meals a day, 7 meals a day. That's upper lower. That's still tasking you to open up your minds. And don't be bloody ridiculous, man. You know, again, look to the people that have been here for 20 years. We've seen this all before. This is nothing new. One thing I didn't say is that, you know, the science is still well behind. The science is still well behind of what we think we know, in terms of, like, when you read the latest from, you know, the latest guys who are putting their studies on social media, they're just backing up what we currently thought, and there is validity to that. Of course, it's important for them to back up what we currently thought, so that we can feel stronger about the things we're doing, or we know that it's correct. But if you base everything on scientific papers, you're going to be so far behind the curve. And this is true of athletics, this is true of performance, this is true of bodybuilding. If you base everything just on what the science is available, or what we've confirmed objectively through science, you'll be so far behind the curve. You know, I think I saw a great article from a very good coach. He said if he was just basing his coaching on science, we would still be running 4-minute miles. It took the scientific community until like the 80s to say categorically that anabolic steroids worked. So just think about that. You know, you've got to be so much more open-minded. All right, guys, man, that's enough of that. If anybody's got any questions, hit me up below. I shot that off the cuff, so I may have tripped up some of the, not made my points clearly, but I think you get the gist of it. Choose your role models and keep an open mind. No zealots, man. Anyone talks about absolutes or anyone talks about optimal is an idiot. There is no optimal. How could you possibly answer the question of optimal? It's ridiculous. And there's no absolutes, right? You've got a zealot if you're talking absolutes, if you're talking yes or no. It's not black or white. It's never gonna be. All right, guys. Peace.